Welcome, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. Since my Brickworks Around the World quilt was created using a vertical strip set, each of the patches is actually a block, which can add some additional challenges in creating rotary cutting charts. I'm going to share with you how I converted a fabric yardage chart to also include cutting information. To determine the amount of fabric, select Print and Export and select Yardage. I'm going to select fat quarters and see if I can do most of the quilt with that. So select Preview and note that other than the binding, which is the last fabric listed, it lists the number of fat quarters required, along with the number of patches for each of those fabrics. Because of the way this quilt is designed, each patch is a separate block. Let's select one of the bricks and select Rotary Cutting and do a preview, and note that those will need to be cut at 2.5 by 1.5. Then select one of the smaller patches and note that they will need to be cut 1.5 inches square. Back on the fabric yardage that I printed out, I'm going to note the number of small pieces that are needed, and I'm just going to go to the quilt and count, and they would just be the partial blocks on the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to know that the remaining pieces are going to be the larger ones, which are cut 1.5 by 2.5. And I'll make all of those notes on my yardage chart so I can do all of my cutting from here as well. Now, I also did note how much binding I need. I like to calculate that separately. And if I want yardage for the background, I made a note of that as well. To see the complete video for creating the Brickworks Around the World quilt, check out my related blog post on onpointquilter.com.